Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Just checking in on everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Such nice breakfast. Got to keep an eye on him if I'm going to talk to you guys. But basically just stopping in this morning here. They're at their new digs. You guys saw yesterday in the video, in case you missed it, go check it out. But we moved them yesterday from the other paddock to over here. And you guys had a couple questions about the move. At our place, we don't really get into moving fences all the time or moving buildings all the time, because we're going to get older, and the older that we get, the less of that we're going to be able to do. Even if you use a tractor or something like that, it's still going to be a little bit of work on you to move that stuff around. So what we do is we move the animals. They're a lot easier to move, as you saw yesterday in the video, and we get them trained in and they take care of the rest. So just checking in on them here today. Brought them a few treats and a little fresh hay, and everybody's doing really super good. No mas. No mas. No mas. So everyone's doing really good over there. I'm gonna grab the eggs and then we're gonna go clean up some compost. One egg. So either instant. Well, it's compost day, so the first thing we're going to need to do is open up our existing pile. So basically what you do is you take these buckets, and these buckets have the poop and the pee, okay? Both of them. Some people use diverters, we don't, but you can. And we use those buckets and we open this up and we pour the buckets in there. Toilet paper, poop, pee, and everything, and the sawdust. We use sawdust as our medium. You have to put something on top of it when you use the restroom to keep the smell down. If you smell one of these buckets, that means you don't have enough cover material. We've been doing this for over 8 years now, and we have never had a smell in our house. And it breaks down and creates the most beautiful compost that you could ever imagine. I know this is a sensitive subject, believe me, but if you'll ask my wife next time you see her, she'll tell you she prefers this way over a standard watered toilet. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to peel this whole thing back. We're going to basically create a volcano so we can pour all 25 buckets. We're doing 25 buckets today. That's a sure sign it was a hard winter. I just didn't feel like it. That's one of the beauties of the system. If you don't feel like it, you can just let those buckets pile up and then you can do them all at once. It does become kind of a pain in the butt. Watch out, I'm on fire today. But it is easy to do, so it's no big deal. You could have 1 bucket, 5 buckets, or in this case, 25 buckets. Now seriously, I have this thing opened up now. I'm getting ready to really open it up. But there is no smell coming from this pile at all. Zero. Or I would never have my face this close. I'm just trying to get rid of that phobia that some of you guys might have. Now what we want to do is get into the center of it. Open this thing up. I mean, it's already breaking down and turning into rich, fabulous compost. And I want you guys to notice what you're not seeing. You're not seeing a bunch of poop or toilet paper. Right? You guys are seeing this with your own eyes. So if you ever had a doubt, I mean, here it is, right here. And we're sharing it with you. Not many people open up their piles on YouTube. Seriously, look at that. No, you don't see anything except great Loomis compost. Now this is the part that you don't want to be too up close and personal with. This is the only part of the whole deal that'll have a smell to it, is when you empty out the buckets. So I moved you guys back there a little bit. Hope you appreciate it. So I just put a little bit of liquid in every bucket, and then what I'll do is transfer this liquid from bucket to bucket. Just kind of knocking out some of the leftover residue of the sawdust and whatever else is in there. And then as the bucket fills up with water, you just put it on right on top of your pile here. It's like compost tea. So once we transfer water from bucket to bucket, I put in another little bit of splash of water in each one, because the next step will be our soap. Now a little splash of our favorite soap in each bucket. It's Dr. Bronner's all natural soap. Just a little splash, because you're going to take the water from each bucket and transfer it to the next bucket. So it just takes just a little bit. Then you just take a regular toilet brush, just like you would probably at home, and you clean out the bucket. Scrub the sides. And then I just take that liquid, move it on to the next bucket. And in this case, repeat the process 23 more times. Now what I did was, as I was filling up those buckets from one bucket to the next, whenever it got too full, I would just pour the soapy water and everything right on the pile. So that's what you do. So I just kept going from bucket to bucket, using that water to swish it out, and then pouring it in the next bucket. When that bucket got, you know, not too full, but full enough, I brought it over, poured it in here, and then just kept going down the line. And then when that bucket got full, I brought it over and poured it in here. So all the water, all your soapy water, ends up in this pile. That's another reason why we're using biodegradable soap. Also, we just want to be good for the environment. I mean, that's the whole reason why we're actually doing this, is because it is good for the environment. Now what we're going to want to do is cover this back up. We're going to take all the stuff we kind of scraped onto the sides and then cover it back up. Hello, ducks. Hey, the ducks are here. They actually have been moving around a little bit more since everything kind of thawed out. They were out in the field earlier, kind of cleaning up after the horses and looking for bugs and stuff like that. Hello, ducks. Yeah, you just keep pulling it on top here. Here's the buckets when they're clean. Not too bad, huh? Now once that we're pulled the sides back over the top, we're just going to get some new cover material, and in our case we use straw. But you could also use leaves or stuff like that. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna sprinkle this all over the top. And lock it in there good, right? So wow, you've never seen that before. A lot of municipalities are waking up to the fact that this is a great way to handle your, I don't even want to call it waste, because like I said, it turns into a compost that is like some of the best you've ever seen. It was funny, we had just did the video on the compost, and a lot of you guys were like, well, don't you guys have compost? Yeah, we are actually developing a closed loop system, meaning we can actually shut the front gates, create compost. We have bees for our sweetener. We also have hickory trees, walnut trees for nuts. We have our garden that we grow. We harvest seeds from the food that we grow. We raise meat with chickens and eggs and sheep. And so our whole system is closed. We have rainwater catchment. We just want to build a place that's pretty much sustainable, that does its own thing. So what we do now, this will be the last time that I actually add to this pile. So this pile will set dormant just like this for a whole year. And if you're super paranoid, you could let it go for 2 years. And then you just break it out, and if you're even more paranoid after that, instead of after the second year of using it on your garden, you could actually just put it around some of your non-edible plants and shrubs, trees, stuff like that. It's fantastic. But I'm just here to tell you, I know because you don't understand it or it's new to you, you're like, oh, I don't know. We've done a ton of research with this. This method has been around for thousands of years, and it's really hard to mess up. So as long as you follow the simple instructions and do it pretty much just like we're teaching you, and like Mr. Jenkins is another nice fellow who actually helped bring this to the forefront as well, as long as you're doing what he's teaching you. And there's a book out there that I'll actually leave a link to down below for you guys to check out if you're interested in doing this. Around here they have a septic tank, or they have like these lagoons, and the lagoon thing kind of creeped me out. I didn't want to have like this pond size area full of mucky poop water, and I also didn't want to pay thousands of dollars for a septic system and then have it pumped out, do the maintenance and all that stuff. And I know there's some people that have very good success stories with septic tanks, but there's a lot more people probably that haven't. I've heard a lot of stories about septic tanks, and I just didn't want to spend the money, to be honest with you. And this is way more environmentally friendly as we're turning this compost into reusable material. Also, if you're like a heavy medicated person, it's great that you want to reuse your compost, and you can as well. We would just suggest not putting that on your edible plants. Again, just use that on your decorative shrubs. Wow, what a cool video. Well, we got this all done. It's just about to rain real quick here. If you guys got any questions about this, leave it down below. We're always scared of what we don't understand. But for us, 8 years in, it's worked out great, and we have had 0 problems with this method. And it's really easy, like I said, to follow the instructions. So we'll see you guys on the next video. Really appreciate you guys watching our videos. And yeah, probably you learned something new today. We'll see you on the next one.